Hey guys, welcome back to Kryptonite, because I believe that cryptocurrency and the blockchain are the kryptonite of our modern financial system, and I freaking love it. Guys, I hope you watched my last video. If you did, then you probably got in on the short opportunity. I was talking in the video about how I was actually in a short position and I was looking for shorts based on what I was seeing on the charts, and that played out exactly as I predicted. We did come down. I was able to actually win a trade, which I'm going to show you a breakdown of how exactly I won this trade and just what to look forward, what is coming for Bitcoin in the coming day. So let's jump right in. I'll show you my trade win and we'll talk more about the charts. All right, as always, we are zooming out on the weekly chart again in our nice little uptrend. Doesn't look too crazy. Like I said before, potential printing of a hidden bearish divergence, although right now, because this is coming down a little bit, we might actually not get that print. So, but again, even if it doesn't break above this one, the fact that it's still at level, even though this one's lower, you could still call that a slight hidden bearish divergence. But right now it looks like it's coming down. All right, let's jump down to a shorter time frame. Let's jump down to the daily. So guys, it's looking like our flag pattern might actually be more accurate. I know I was showing you previously, where's that chart, about this one and how I was, hey, look, are we in this wedge or in this flag? Or are we in this wedge? And I was kind of like, I wasn't sure, but I made my short based on this instead. And I thought, hey, we got room to go down. We got our Heiken Ashi candle switch right here. And it was right about here that I was saying, hey, I'm looking for short positions, right? And we did end up coming down. And I think we will come down to hit the bottom of our target down here. So let me show you the trade that I won. Pretty excited about it. And one of the reasons I took it was, and you probably have to go watch my last video if you want to see more about it. But again, I was seeing a lot of bearish indicators on the longer time frame, especially the daily, with divergences and stochastic flipping, and so I was already had a bearish bias on the longer term. And guys, so I saw this bad boy, and let me show you the indicator that really helped me win this trade. I wonder if it'll show up. Did it show up on the 15? I think it was on the hourly. I don't know if it's still there, but basically what I was seeing with one of my favorite indicators is the trend lines with breaks. Huge fan. So this was actually already showing, and it disappeared now that new things happened, but there was a line from here that was literally printing perfectly, right? Showing that we might get resistance right here. It wasn't this line, I swear. It's repainted since, but it was different. It was straight across. And so I saw this pump and I saw it right at our trend line here, and I held, and I thought, I'm gonna wait and see if it is able to break this trend. Immediately, we get rejected. Boom, right? And I was looking at the regular candles too. Okay, and we had a nice, look at that candle. Look at that candle, massive move down. Now, unfortunately, I was watching a TV show actually during this section of it. Otherwise, I would have jumped in ASAP, right? Because I already saw that we were hitting this resistance line. I see this rejection. As you can see, we got a trend break. I think we even got a smiley indicator on there as well. Huge candle. So I immediately, as soon as I saw this, after my TV show was done, I immediately jumped into the short position right here, and I actually rode it all the way down to here to get a 1 to 1.5. So it was, again, I'm glad I saw this before it was too late and I was able to get in on the short position here. But it was just, this was like an A+ setup. And I actually, a new strategy that I'm learning is to, when you see an A+ setup, you risk more, right? A poker player will risk more on hands that have higher probabilities. And so I saw this as a huge probability. I mean, that candle, the Heiken Ashi switch, the RSI candles pointing us down, the rejection from that trend line, it was just the volume in that candle. So I actually risked 3 times what I normally risk on a regular trade because the setup was so good, and I ended up nailing this trade, and I was super excited to implement that higher, the better the setup, risk more, the worse the setup, risk less. And so this to me was an absolute A++ setup. I risked 3 times. I wish I would have risked more. And it played out absolutely perfectly. Super, super excited. Now, again, things are looking pretty bearish. My prediction right now is kind of from what I've been seeing here. I do think that we are going to come down a little bit more and test the bottom of this bear flag, maybe around 23,000. And then I do think we will get support. I don't think this falling wedge is actually valid. I think the bear flag is more valid. So I know that it's easy to freak out and think that we're headed all the way to the bottom. I don't think that's true. We would definitely have to break this bear flag first before I am thinking that's going to happen. And it is possible both almost play out, where the wedge breaks down, this breaks down from the bear, as well, and they're both right, and they're both bearish. And like I've been saying, I do think we are due for one more downswing, making new lows, and I do think that will be the last low that we will make. But I do think we got one more, at least one scam wick liquidity grab down. So I'm going to be continuously looking for shorts. In fact, I'm actually in a short position right now that I took because we did get a rejection off previous support right here with a nice hammer candle. So I actually took a short here that right now it's just kind of putzing around this. As you can see here, we had previous resistance multiple times right here, and now we're coming down to retest it as support. So we'll see how this trade pans out. I'm not a huge fan. Again, I didn't risk much because I didn't think it was the most fantastic setup. But again, we did have a break, a retest of old resistance. We are under the 200 hammer candle. I believe we had a Heiken Ashi switch as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or actually, more importantly, we didn't have a switch, right? So as you can see here, this is a combination of RSI momentum candles and Heiken Ashi. We have not had a switch to green on the 1 hourly, meaning that there's not momentum pushing us up. So I am in a little short position here. I kind of put my stop loss right above this hammer candle because I do think that we again are coming down to the bottom. Another, let's see, 23. So maybe another $300 move down to touch the bottom of this bear flag before getting some support. And that's where I'd be looking to take long positions. As far as Ethereum goes, as you can see, it's getting a nice rejection, our first real red candle in some time, although on the Heiken Ashi it's still showing that we've got some bullish momentum, so don't need to freak out just yet on Ethereum. So let's jump down to a shorter time frame on Ethereum. I don't have a lot of stuff drawn up on this one, but I do on this one. Yeah, so as you can see, breaking out, but again, I'm not going to freak out yet. I don't think I'm not going to worry about this yet. So, but I'm still looking for short positions as of now, but just nothing crazy, right? Scalp shorts. I don't expect us to break down heavily so much right away. We might putz around, get a pump up, retest this old, resistance, and then get another leg down. So, looking for scalp shorts right now, still in my short position. So my bias. My bias is still leaning more short positions. Now, again, one of the things that really helped me with the trade, winning this trade, was actually looking at the DXY, which is very, I talked about in the DXY, we had this bit of a, triangle that was starting to form. We did get a nice support here from the 200, and I think even on other time frames, we got support from the 21. Maybe it was on the daily. Yep, on the daily, we got support from the 21. So this was one of the reasons why I was more confident about the Bitcoin short, is because we had this bullish engulfing 3-line strike off the 21 on the DXY, and we were at the bottom of this trend line, and so I was expecting support here for the DXY pushing up, which it did, which pushes Bitcoin down. They're heavily correlated. So as you can see here, we should be hitting some resistance on the DXY here pretty soon, which should then, again, unless it breaks up out of it, then Bitcoin's definitely going down. If it gets some resistance and comes back down, then obviously Bitcoin will pretty much do the opposite. So keeping my eye big time on the DXY. Again, I do think it's going to come up, retest this trend line here. So a little bit more downside for Bitcoin. But again, not going to freak out. It's not. It'll kind of depend on what happens here with the DXY. If it breaks through, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble with Bitcoin and Ethereum will both be falling down. So really have been focusing on the DXY. I'm realizing that is a huge, important thing to consider. Again, if we look on the daily candles here for Bitcoin, we can tell, we're still in this green momentum. So even though we're coming down, there's still positive momentum. We do have this 21 on the daily chart giving us support currently, along with this previous support zone. So there are a couple things that say, hey, we're not going to just collapse. We're going to probably consolidate a little bit around these support levels that we had here, 21. So again, I'm not freaking out just yet. I am leaning bearish and looking at shorts, but I'm not freaking out. I don't think we'll have some massive breakdown again. At worst, we'll come down to about 22.7 and we'll get support right here. And that's actually also, if we look here, I did put a Fibonacci retracement from the top here. We hit the 0.5 pretty perfectly, and the target for the end of this run would actually be right down there at that level I was just talking about. That would be the 1618 for this trend run here. So I do expect eventually, I think it will come down and retest this level at the 1618, and then we're going to get probably a lot of support, because you can look at how much support has happened right at that level, and it perfectly matches with the 1618 target for this trend run. So again, looking for shorts for the next, and I think the DXY is in support of that based on it pumping up to its new resistance level on the daily. So definitely looking for shorts in the short term, but looking to get support at this level. Kind of same thing for Ethereum. Probably going to come down a little bit as well. We see here on the 1 hourly, it could come down, test the 200 here on its chart on the hourly, maybe even go to a little lower targets. Should see some nice support here around $1,800. Guys, that is all I have for you. Again, pretty excited to win that trade, especially risking 3 times the amount. So super excited about winning that trade. I was pumped about it the whole day. I will see if we win the short position or not. Again, I'm feeling good about it, just because I do think that we do have more downside here in the short term. Guys, that's all I got for you, though. It is late, so this video is going to be a quick one. Guys, as always, make sure to save your money, grow your money, and make sure to buy some Bitcoin, because fiat currency is going to freaking zero. We are basically, the dollar is backed by debt and the threat of violence. That is all that backs the US dollar right now. We have a system, it's called Bitcoin, that is way better, takes power away from the state, back in the hands of the people. So please support the Bitcoin network and make sure to get some Bitcoin while you're at it. I'm stacking stats every single day through a couple different apps. If you're interested, I can show you, I can link those below if you want to join in on those as well. And yeah, if you want to trade with me, I'll leave an exchange in the comments with a link. If you want to use my referral, that helps me, and you can trade as well. But again, I'm going to tell you right now, you probably shouldn't trade. It's so freaking hard. Like, you're probably going to lose money. Unless you're like really dedicated like I am, and you're going to every single day work at it, journal and study and freaking work your butt off to make it sort of what you do as your profession. If you're not willing to do that, I wouldn't recommend it, or just copy trade somebody. All right, guys, see ya.